What's going on, guys? Rage Lamprite here, bringing you my Stamina Templar PvP build for Waking Flame and beyond. You can probably run this on just about any Stamina Magicka class. Interchange the set or two. The premises are the same. I'm an Orc. I'm also Stage 3 Vamp. I don't really seem to have an issue with the cost increase. Because of the nature of the sets we're running, I put 28 points into health, 36 into stamina. Alright, that's going to go ahead and give you, on your front bar, you'll have about 31k health, 27k stam, a decent stamina recovery pool, as well as a healthy initial weapon damage, as well as spell damage. Spell damage is good here because you're going to increase the heals of Living Dark, which is a skill that we use to nullify incoming damage and snare opponents. Getting directly into the gear, I'm running 2 pieces of Engine Guardian. The reasons for this is very simple. The sustain is exceptionally good to include when you're using a high magic cost skill of Living Dark, as well as Race Against Time and your Purify. Having that little blue beam helps out quite well. I also have 1 piece of Trainee. On my front bar, I'm running Ravager, so you can run Deadly Strikes here. I did the testing. Fully buffed Ravager is going to be about a little over 200 tooltip change from Deadly Strikes. However, your accrued damage across all of their abilities is going to be far greater than the difference between those jab tooltips. So I've opted for Ravager. It increases more of our damage than just our jabs. I'm also running at the moment 2 pieces of Healthy because I don't have Transmute Stones, as well as I am running Lava Foot food. I've went with Nirnhorn on my Maul, mostly because the 15% increase in weapon damage that I'm going to get from a very high weapon damage build is going to be higher on a percentage to percentage calculation of damage to just running sharpened, or so I've noticed. Also, the Maul helps out with the pen scenario that we face. Back bar, Clever Alchemist. Right now it's a little bugged. You have to be looking at a target to use it. If you don't want to use Clever Alchemist, or that's too irritating for you, feel free to just use Essence Thief. It'll give you some more sustain, and then if you don't like your health thresholds throughout this build, you can just run Artaeum and still be fine. The linchpin of this entire thing is going to be Thrash and Stranglers. Okay, your health is going to decrease by 6k. However, your weapon damage and spell damage are going to increase by 1150 plus. So that's going to boost all your heals, all your damage, and I feel like the trade-off is more than worth it. At 50 stacks, I am at 26 to 27k health right now. At the more midline stat, I'm closer. I'm like 28, 29k. And then sitting here right now at what's probably going to be the most realistic starting stack point that you have, which is 13. You're at 31k health. And the real reason why that's a realistic stat line is because there are 13 guards at a resource, and if you're doing solo or small scale PvP, you're going to wind up taking a resource. Into the skills, back bar, extended ritual, race against time, reverberating bash, resolving vigor, living dark, spell wall. Front bar, this would probably be my only flex spot. Run whatever you want there. I like the major evasion for the added tankiness. I like the major expedition for the movement speed. Restoring focus, fighting jabs, power of the light, rally. You can run Dawnbreaker or Crescent here, whichever you so choose. An important part to mention about Thrashins is it seems that the damage differential between that and Malakath levels out at somewhere between like 9 and 11 kills. So once you go above that, you have Malakath level damage, you just can crit at your normal level. And if you're a Stamplar, erasing your crit damage effectively erases a passive that you have. So now we can hit with all the might of Malakath and still be able to crit a la Stamplar. Let's take a look at CP very quickly. I use Biting Aura, Ironclad, Duelist rebuff, Master at Arms. My red tree, I use Survival Instincts. Yes, we can cleanse, but this in conjunction with another passive I'm using when you're getting dumped on by numerous people, it's 100% a scenario where you just notice negative buffs racking up, or debuffs rather, racking up on your buff tracker. So between this and Pain's Refuge, you have a very good sustain when you are in times of needing to use your abilities the most, as well as a very high damage mitt in those same scenarios. I use Slippery pretty much just because I don't trust the game to allow me to break free all the time. So I've decided to trust the game to break free on its own, and it seems to work well enough. And then I use Relentlessness, really just for the mage protection, just an added layer of mitigation against burst. Quite frankly, that's it. I will go ahead and include a screenshot of what your midline buff scenario is with Thrashins, so at 25 stacks, and then and that's 25 stacks, like with your Ravager proc, and then your Alchemist, then your Weapons Glyph, which you can juggle however you want to juggle, and then I'll also include a 50 stack buffed character sheet as well. That's it. Okay, so as promised, here is the character sheet for your midline buff. Mind you, my stamina recovery is a little high right now because I just killed something to go ahead and show you all this. So your weapon damage is going to be 80 to 17. Your stamina recovery will be around 2k, a little higher because you will have a potion up. Your health is still around that 29 to 30k mark, but the other amazing part about this is your spell damage is at 6k. So those living dark heals that you have coming in are going to be quite nice. This is where it gets real fun. You've gone out, hit a couple of resources, you've gotten in a couple of solo or small scale fights, and you find yourself at 50 stacks. Once you've reached this threshold, it's very difficult for anyone to kill you, and you'll be mopping up people quickly enough to the point where it won't matter. So you'll be at just about 9k weapon damage. Again, this is after I killed something, so that stamina recovery is going to be a little bit higher. It'll be more likely around that 2100 stamina recovery mark. Your maximum health is still above 25k, which is completely alright. I promise if you don't feel comfortable with that value, by all means, use Artinium Takeaway Broth. But yep, that's it. That's the build. So I hope you guys have as much fun with this as I am. See you in Cyrodiil.